calling baby, baby.
Good afternoon everyone, I'm Jayraldine Dayono and this is the presentation of Group 2. I will now discuss the background context of choosing the issue about natural calamity. So what is natural calamity? A natural calamity is the effect of a natural hazard that affects the environment and leads to financial, environmental, and/or human losses. Natural calamity happens because of the weather or other natural conditions. Examples are floods, hurricanes, tornadoes, volcanic eruptions, earthquakes, tsunamis, storms, and other geologic processes. A natural calamity is characterized by the abnormal intensity of a natural agent when the usual measures to be taken to prevent this damage were not able to prevent their emergence or were not able to be taken. Is natural calamity made by humans? Floods, storms, earthquakes, forests, fires, and volcanic eruptions are among the most devastating types of natural catastrophe. When we say catastrophe, it is an event causing sudden damage or suffering, or in other words, a disaster. But some disasters are man-made. This includes explosions, major fires, aviation, and release of toxic substances into the environment. What is the cause of natural calamity? Natural calamity are catastrophic events with atmospheric, geological, and hydrological origins, meaning it is a major adverse event resulting from natural processes of the earth. What are the effects of natural calamities? Natural calamity cause destruction of property, loss of financial resources, and personal injury or illness. The loss of resources, security, and access to shelter can lead to massive population migrations in lesser developed countries. How can we prevent natural calamities? We can prevent natural calamities by awareness, education, preparedness, prediction, and warning systems. By these preparations, we can reduce the disruptive impacts of a natural calamities in our community. Why did our group choose this issue? Our group chose this issue because it is generally constitute an emergency since they require immediate intervention due to their high impact on human health and safety. They affect the normal functioning of working infrastructure, interrupting normal day activities, and representing a risk for residents, students, and workers in affected areas.
Good day everyone, my name is Markjake Casamis. Natural calamities affect especially young people and the student like us. For example, if there is a flood or thunderstorm that we often experience, it can affect the youth in their personality and mentality during the times they have witnessed such things event and the destruction of their home. And the worst part is they witness also someone dies. The same goes for our education, especially if even our school was damaged due to the disaster, it will affect our education. And often, the school makes the evacuation center of the person affected by the disaster. Natural calamities are also relevant to the community because when a calamities damage our city, infrastructure greatly, it has a huge negative impact on the community. Natural disaster cause destruction of property, loss of financial resources, and personal injury or illness. The loss of resources, security, and access to shelter can lead to massive population migration in lesser developed countries. Natural calamities affect also people socially by increased mental health issues, alcohol misuse, domestic violence, chronic disease, and short-term unemployment.
Good day to all of you. My name is Lemuel Cawaling, and the context of our editorial is known for flood, which deflects crop plants of oxygen, and since water contains less oxygen than soil and air, plants could suffocate. Oxygen depletion is increased as a result of the factors below: warmer floodwaters, stagnant water, less mature plants, crops submerged under water too long. Nitrogen loss. Plants need nitrogen to grow. Flooding only weakens plants' defense. Nitrogen levels drop due to runoff washing away freshly applied fertilizers or the flourishing of anaerobic microbes due to lower levels of oxygen in water in floodwaters. Weed growth. Flooding slows the growth of crops and increases the growth of weeds due to weed seeds washing in from other areas. Farmers must be careful when dealing with weeds since they can harm plants. Erosion and soil displacement from flooding can ruin fields and destroy crops. Erosion washes the fertile topsoil away with leaves plants with nowhere to set roots. Farm recovery after a flood land. Owners face a number of economic challenges when recovering from the floods. Recovery is hard work but not an impossible task. Farmers need an extra dose of patience and persistence in this time. They must also expect an increase in costs as they embark on their land's recovery. So the first step is to clean up the land by removing the debts and draining water from the field. Crops must also be evaluated for damage and disease and then separated from other plants that are healthy to revise nitrogen loss, estimate the amount of loss, and then apply fertilizer or plant crops such as legumes. Disease may also be managed with fungicides, but this can also increase production costs. Choose weed control with caution as some could cause further damage or simply by ineffective depending on the season it is applied. Farmers must work diligently to restore the health of their soil in order for agricultural productivity to flourish after a floods.
Floods are the most frequent type of natural disaster and occur when an overflow of water submerges land that is usually dry. Floods are often caused by heavy rainfall, rapid snowmelt, or a storm surge from a tropical cyclone or tsunami in coastal areas. Floods can cause widespread devastation, resulting in loss of life and damages to personal property and critical public health infrastructure. The awareness or preparedness that we can do when there is such a disaster before, during, and after is: before disaster, the preparedness or awareness that we can do are: know the hazards in your area. First, monitor the news of weather updates, warnings, and advisories. Second, know the flood early warning and evacuation plan of the community. Third, participate in community flood preparedness action and drills. Fourth, secure your home, move essential furniture and items to the upper floor. Fifth, before evacuating, turn off all main switches of electricity, water, and LPG tanks. Sixth, put livestock and pets in a safe area or designated evacuation sites for animals. And last, when order is received, immediately evacuate to higher and safer grounds. During disaster, the preparedness or awareness that we can do are: stay on higher grounds. First, stay indoors and stay tuned for latest news and weather updates. Second, do not touch electrical equipment if you are wet or standing in flood water. Third, do not go swimming or boating in swollen rivers. Fourth, do not cross streams when water level is already above the knee. And last, do not walk or drive through flooded areas. After disaster, that we can do preparedness awareness are: stay alert and keep safe. First, leave the evacuation area only when authorities say it safe to return home. Second, report fallen trees and electric posts to proper authorities. Third, check for wet or submerged electrical outlets and appliances before turning on electricity. Fourth, check your house for possible damages and repair as necessary. Fifth, make sure that the food and water for drinking are not contaminated by flood water. And last, throw away rainwater in cans, pots, and tires to prevent breeding of mosquitoes.
Good day everyone, I'm Aira Lizsheine Chavez, the leader of the Group 2. Today I will discuss about the importance of risk preparedness and risk awareness. But before I discuss it, I will play a video for you to understand more about natural calamities.
Disasters create large humanitarian and development challenges. The frequency and severity of disasters have increased over the last few years, also as a result of climate change. More than 226 million people are affected by disasters every year. More than 680,000 people died in earthquakes between 2000 and 2010, mainly due to poorly constructed buildings. Since 1980, drought and associated famine have claimed nearly 558,000 lives and affected more than 1.6 billion people. Cyclones, hurricanes and typhoons affect 37 million people. It is thus important to keep in mind that disasters are not natural. They only occur when people lack preparedness or the ability to cope with hazards. We can use the following formula. While education systems are greatly affected by disasters, they are also part of the solution. Education on disaster risk reduction can provide life-saving information and skills that protect children and young people during and after disasters. Education has a vital role to play in preparing communities and building disaster-resilient societies and safe lives. Schools should be built to be disaster-proof. In the case of Japan, this saved many children who survived because they were in school. Disaster risk reduction should be introduced into school curricula and programs. This will ensure that learners understand the causes and consequences of disasters and know how to act when a disaster strikes. Learners should also participate, for example, in mapping school hazards, risks and vulnerabilities around them, and in developing school disaster preparation plans. This gives them the opportunity to learn by doing, as well as testing their newly acquired knowledge in practice. The entire learning community should work on safety measures in preparation for a disaster. It is our hope that as many countries will integrate disaster risk reduction into the planning and construction of their facilities, the management of their schools, as well as in their curricula and programs. UNESCO provides the tools for integrating disaster risk reduction into schools. Let's use these tools and get active today.
Why is awareness important in facing any disaster? It is our duty to support people to understand the risk, and their important role is protecting themselves and being more resilient. Every organization and government engaged in disaster risk reduction awareness must plan and communicate harmonized messages, a key element to avoid confusion. How does public awareness reduce risk? Well, public awareness, in addition to education, is a process through which people living in hazard prone areas can realize and understand that they live in areas of risk, know the specific dangers that they are exposed to, learn the meaning of warnings that are issued, and participate in the policy and decision making. Why is family preparedness is important? An important facet to family safety is having a plan and being prepared in case an emergency strikes. Preparing yourself and your family for all types of emergencies is very important. Why is it important? So you can increase your personal sense of security and peace of mind and to know you will be ready in case of an emergency. When an emergency strikes, knowing what to do can save time, property, and most of all lives. Disaster management aims to reduce or avoid the potential losses from hazards, assure prompt and appropriate assistance to victims of disaster, and achieve rapid and effective recovery. Reasons of our group by presenting our topic with editorial cartoon. The audience will understand more about this topic. Through the pictures, they can visualize the topic more, and the audience will understand the topic by just looking in a floating photos. Awareness will be risen. Through the shown pictures, they can visualize or imagine the scene on their own. It will make our presentation more fun and interesting. The photos and good background can give a color to our presentation and fun to study. The audience will feature more about how these natural calamities happen in person.
And that's it. I hope that all of you are listen and learn on our topic. Thank you.